Good morning. I have a few announcements before we get started this morning. Reverend Dan will once again be leading a Soul Matters small group this year. This group meets once a month and engages with a monthly themed packet of readings and exercises geared toward deeper spiritual thinking, personal growth and awareness, and building relationships. Though the previous groups have been fairly small, everyone who has participated stated that they enjoyed the group and got a lot out of working with the content of the packets. A new group will be forming in September. If you'd like to participate, contact Reverend Dan. Shoot him an email. You can also talk to some previous group members such as Chuck, Terry, Annette, Katrina, John, Ken, and Kathy Lance about their experiences with the group. Second announcement, Science and Society will meet this coming Tuesday at 2 p.m. This is a switch from normal. They don't normally do 2 weeks in a row, but they are this month. And also, after our service today, we have a picnic, kind of a welcome back, get ready for school, welcome back from vacation picnic. So hope you'll all stay for that. And I think Carl has a short announcement.
Good morning. We're really excited to announce that we've got a concert coming up October 2nd with the Ann Heaton Trio. And this is somebody that I met through my songwriting cohort that I did online, but she's got quite a list of accomplishments. Her songs that are by turns tender, barbed, and spiritual, according to the Washington Post. She's been featured by the New York Times Music Podcast, NPR, Sundance Film Festival, and Lilith Fair. She shared the stage with Jewel, Sarah McLachlan, and Jets drummer Max Roach. She teaches songwriting at Berklee College of Music and Grammy Camp. So we're really excited to welcome her and her two fellow musicians. So she plays piano. She's bringing a violinist and a percussionist. So October 2nd, I know it seems like a long way away, but we want to start spreading the word. So tell your friends and family, and we'll be sending out information as it gets closer to the time.
That sounds great. Also want to say thank you to some people who've stepped up and helped out today. Chuck Bauer, Ken Claiborne, Steve Kripe, Carl Rust, Terry Mark, and John Dozel, and Oksana in the kitchen. So we want to thank all of you. Without all of you, it wouldn't be possible for us to put on a service.
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a light about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you give all you can give so that our banner may advance? Some will fall and some will live. Will you
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chuck Bauer, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart. Welcome to you all. Our mission is welcoming all, deepening spiritual understanding, growing together in community, working for social justice. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please see anyone wearing a name badge with any questions you may have, or visit our website at uufe.org. You are welcome to join us after the service in the gathering place today for picnic potluck, and I hope you all stay, as Sherry mentioned earlier. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask that you set your phones to silent mode. If you need hearing support, please ask for help at the sound desk at the rear of the sanctuary. And in the spirit of fellowship, care, and connection, I encourage every friend or member to speak with at least one person that they do not know or know well before leaving here today. This is how we will continue to build the beloved community we seek. And to start those conversations off, please take a moment now to greet the people around you. And let's not forget our online friends. Let's say hi to them as well. Get up, get going, come on. Move, move, move. I have, sitting over there, a directory for you. So, by the way,
Chuck says I can shush you now. Good morning. I'm back. Yeah, and it's really good to be back. Had a very nice, relaxing summer, but I'm ready to get back to work. So today, we gather this morning in a world that is not short on opinions, concern, or strong feelings about what is happening around us today. Many of us are paying attention. Many of us care very deeply. And yet it's possible to care about the world, to know what matters, and still feel uncertain what to do about it. That question is not new. The Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams spent much of his life asking what difference our beliefs actually make, not in our own lives, but in the world we share. He believed that a religion that was only based on internal beliefs without any external impact was no real religion. Some would refer to that as navel-gazing. So this morning, we're going to spend some time with James Luther Adams, or JLA, as he's often called in UU circles, and we'll reflect on what it means to live our values beyond ourselves and these walls. So come and let us enter into worship together.
Our chalice lighting this morning was written by Reverend Dan. We light this chalice as a symbol of our shared life, not just of ideas we hold, but of the ways we show up for one another and in the larger world. May it call us beyond good intentions into lives that take shape in community. And now please rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 145, As Tranquil Streams.
Please stand and refer to the hymnals for the words. The words on the video are not going to be real clear, so follow along. We're going to sing with the soloist, okay? I'm going to go ahead and sit down.
And now, if you will join me in our unison covenant, which is printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
So I have good news and bad news. Bad news first. You do not get one of my fabulous stories today. Yeah, aw. But the good news is we're going to do something different. We're going to have a special ceremony. A blessing of the backpacks and bags. Some of us carry bags with us for many, many reasons during the week. We take books and homework to school and back again. Some of us bring our lunches to school or work. Some carry computers and other supplies to the places where we work or volunteer. Some kids carry overnight bags from one parent's house to another, or some people even bring bags to have knitting and books to keep them occupied when they're bored. But not here. And so some people even have special bags for their babies, their dogs, and their groceries. So everybody has a bag, probably. So at this time, I would like to invite anyone, if you want to bring your bag and come up front for a blessing, or stay where you are and just hold it up, that's fine. But let's take a moment and do what you're going to do. Come up or stay seated and hold your bag up. Your purse, ladies, cell phone bags, whatever kind of container that you have. All right, that'll work. Okay, so for this blessing, we're going to add something to your bags. But don't worry, it's not going to have any weight, and it won't take up any room, okay? So, would any of you with bags, would you like to have some of our congregation's love to take with you to school or work or on your travels? Who wants to have some love? Yeah, okay. So, if you feel love here on Sundays, it would be nice to know that some of that love goes with you on all the other days too, right? Okay. So, for everybody else, and you guys too, I want you to reach in wherever you're storing your love. Maybe it's in your pockets, or your shirt sleeve, or wherever it is that you store your love. I want you to pull it out, okay? And we're going to make a ball. All right, let's make a nice ball of love. Okay, and when I count to 3, we're going to toss the ball of love into the bags and backpacks. So if you're sitting, hold up your bag so we can get it in there. You guys hold your bags open. Okay? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, toss! Catch it, catch it, catch it, catch it. All right, yay. Okay, good. Now your bags are full of our love. But I think maybe there's room for a little bit more things. Yeah? So sometimes we get nervous when we go to school or work or head somewhere unfamiliar, especially on first days. So sometimes something happens and we wish we felt just a little bit braver. So I think maybe we should add some courage to the bags, don't you? Yeah, courage is a good thing. So everybody, again, reach into wherever you store your courage. Maybe mine's in my pocket. Okay, got it. And we're going to make another ball of courage this time. Everybody ready? Hold your bags. Here we come. 1, 2, 3. Courage! All right, catch it, catch it. That's an important one. Don't let it go. All right, good. So now you've got love and courage. But I think maybe there's still room for a little bit more. But this time, I'm going to let you decide what you need. Okay? Maybe you need some peace, patience, joy, sense of humor. Think about, what do I need to carry with me to school or to work or out in the world that will help me through the week? Think about it. We got it? Okay. So everybody, this time we're going to make a big ball. And that's going to encompass everything that everybody needs, okay? So they're sending it to you telepathically. All right, so, okay, here we go. Big ball. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, catch it. Everything you need now is in your bag. Wow. Whew, that was work. So, I think we've packed quite a lot into these bags. And I think you're now fully stocked with everything you need for a wonderful year. Fortunately, none of it weighs anything, so nobody should have any trouble carrying it with them around. So, I want everybody who had their bag filled, I want you to take a really good look at it right now. Take a good look. It probably doesn't look any different. And it probably doesn't feel any heavier than it did before. But the next time you pick it up, I hope you'll remember what we've tucked inside there today. And to help you remember, we have some bag tags to hand out. So if you have the bag to be blessed, I want you to grab a bag tag, or even if you didn't, I have some extras. On one side it says "You rock," and the other side has a different saying about how awesome you are. And so put it on your bag if you can. So every time you see this bag tag, you're going to think of us and all the love and courage and whatever else you need that we're sending with you as you go about your school day and work day and life. Everybody got what they need out here? We still got a couple? Okay. So, before everybody returns to their seats, I want to offer one final blessing for everything that you carry. Spirit of life, be with each person gathered here as they step into the days ahead. May these backpacks and bags remind us of the people who believe in us, encourage us, and love us. When we're nervous about what lies ahead, may we find the courage that we have tucked away in this bag. When something doesn't go the way we hoped, may we find patience. When we discover something new, may we remain curious. And wherever our journeys take us, may the values of our shared faith guide the way we live and the way we treat each other. May the year ahead bring new discoveries, unexpected joys, good friends, and plenty of reasons to laugh. And may each of you always know that here in this fellowship, you will always find the hands of friends. Amen. You may take your seats. Do you feel fully blessed now? Yeah, good.
Is this the microphone I use? Yes. This week is the fourth Sunday of the month, and we recognize joys and sorrows of our global community. All that is shared today comes from beyond ourselves, whether from the other side of the county or the other side of the hemisphere. These events affect us indirectly by impacting the world we live in. And this practice helps to keep us conscious of events outside of UUFE, to bring and keep our awareness of losses and gifts, pain and beauty from beyond ourselves, and allow us to bear witness. If you would like to share something with us, just raise your hand and I will call on you, and then I'll probably repeat it so that everyone can hear. Briefly speak about the situation or the event that you are calling to our attention. And if anyone has any questions about that, please contact the speaker afterwards when we have our picnic. Please do be very brief, hold personal sharings for third Sundays, and avoid politically charged events that we may each value differently. I'd like to start us out with a happy thing, I think. I read a recent report on significant reduction of deforestation in parts of Brazil's Amazon. And this is just such a positive sign for conservation efforts that have been going on there for quite a while. John, I saw your hand go up first.
Rarely reported in U.S. media, but sub-Saharan Africa is going through a whole series across multiple countries, wars, revolts, and many of them are religiously driven, which is very sad to think. And religion, which is supposed to be about peace and love, is the cause of so many of these conflicts. But we're
yeah, war across sub-Saharan Africa. Laura?
The wildfires in Europe, France, Spain.
Yes. Yeah, those areas are devastated in France and Spain. Well, really, the whole map. They've been in a heat dome for a long time. Renee? Yeah. The flooding of the White River in Indianapolis. Jennings?
We can't hear any of that.
Let me.
They're going to Mars in 4 years, and they've just discovered like this turtle head, and it's on metal tracks.
Very cool. Thank you. Anybody?
There are still many thousands of people in northwest Indiana who still have not had power restored after storms that hit, I think, almost 2 weeks ago.
Anyone else? May light and warmth come to all who both need and bring it. May we grow in awareness of our global community and our care of it, and may we ever be grateful for all that we have been given. Thanks everyone for sharing. It's time for the kids to go to RE with their backpacks full of blessings. And we're going to sing Spirit of Life.
In the spirit of meditation, you can remain seated for this.
It's time for our offering now, and this morning we are sharing our offering with the ACLU of Indiana. Please give generously as you can. Beautiful introduction to our message today. Our reading this morning comes from the Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams, who believed that faith is something we live, not only as individuals, but together. He writes, "Religion, if it is to be vital, must be concerned with the whole of life. It cannot be confined to the private sphere. It must deal with the structures of society, with the ways in which power is organized and exercised. A purely spiritual religion is a purely spurious religion. The faith that is not related to the problems of this world is not worthy of the name. In a democratic society, the existence of voluntary associations is of decisive importance. These associations are the means by which individuals participate in the shaping of their common life. They are the instruments through which people act together for the realization of their values. Without such associations, democracy becomes empty. The individual left alone is powerless, but when individuals join together, when they organize around shared purposes, They acquire the capacity to influence the course of events. Faith, therefore, is not only a matter of personal conviction, it is a matter of participation in a community of action.
I kind of like old GLA. I think he's got the right. There have been terrible moments, tragic moments, and fearful moments in history when people later look back and ask a hard question. Why didn't anybody do anything? Why? We like to imagine that we would have been different, that we would have been able to see what was happening, and that we would have known what needed to be done. But history doesn't feel like history when we're living through it. It feels uncertain, confusing, complicated. There's always another explanation, another reason to wait, another hope that things might settle down in their time. But a man named James Luther Adams lived through one of those moments in history that nobody really knew what to do. Though many lay people in our tradition haven't heard of James Luther Adams, he is considered to be Unitarian royalty when it comes to our UU ancestors. He was born in 1901, the son of a deeply religious father, but not the gentle kind of religious father. His father was a traveling preacher. He was very strict, conservative, and often harsh in his expectations. Religion in that household was not something to question or explore. It was something to obey. So as a young boy, JLA would sometimes travel with his father, playing hymns on his violin as part of those services. It was one of his earliest experiences with religious life, and even then, something just did not jive for him. For young Adams, that kind of religion that he experienced did not invite faith. It pushed him away from it. So as a young man, he rejected religion altogether. And while a student at the University of Minnesota, he argued against religion whenever he had the chance. He challenged his professors. He pushed back against anything that sounded too certain, too settled, and he was not alone in that. College for him was not just lectures and assignments and writing papers. It was more about conversation, arguments carried out in classrooms, in hallways, in late night discussions with other students who were asking many of the same questions about meaning, responsibility, and the kind of world they were inheriting. Questions like, what makes a life meaningful? What do we owe one another? Why do people believe what they believe? And what difference does it actually make? And underneath it all, the deeper question that he could not ignore: what shapes people and what makes change possible? It's funny because after observing JLA engaging in theological arguments time and time again, one of his professors eventually pulled him aside and he said, you're going to be a preacher. You can imagine his reaction, and he kind of laughed and he pushed back. That's the last thing that he wanted. But that conversation stuck with him. And even though Adams pushed back, the professor didn't really argue with him. He just said, if you care this much about attacking religion, then your passion is religion. You just haven't discovered a self-critical version of it yet. Well, that didn't really resolve anything for young James Luther Adams, but it did unsettle him. And this encounter stayed with him in the back of his head for years. After college, Adams went to work on the railroad. It was demanding work, physical work, work that depended on the coordination and cooperation with others, depended on trust, people doing their part. It also brought him into contact with people whose lives were very different from his own. Not in a classroom, but in the rhythms of daily life. Working alongside people, depending on them, seeing what mattered to them and what they were up against. And that experience kind of changed something in him. The questions he had been wrestling with, asking when he was in college, what shapes people, what we owe one another, that no longer felt abstract. They felt real. And they felt connected to how people actually live together. And over time, it became clear to him that these were not just personal questions. They were social questions. Questions about how people influence one another, how values take root, and how communities shape what becomes possible. So he wanted to understand these questions more deeply, and that search led him to Harvard Divinity School. Now, at that time, Harvard Divinity School was the one central training grounds for Unitarian ministers. Any Unitarian minister who was anybody at that time probably went there. So at Harvard, Adams found himself in a very different kind of religious environment than the one he rejected. Not one built on unquestioned authority, but one shaped by inquiry, debate, engagement with philosophy and history and the realities of social life. During his seminary training, JLA found that in Unitarianism, he did not have to leave his questions behind him. He was expected to bring them. A little different approach. So he finally found a tradition shaped not by rigid doctrine, but by inquiry, and one that took seriously the ideas of that truth is not handed down once and for all, but must be wrestled with in every generation. But what drew him in was not just intellectual freedom. It was responsibility. This was a form of religion that insisted belief had consequences. That what we say we believe must show up in how we live, how we organize, and how we respond to the world around us. For someone who had seen religion used as control, and who was beginning to see how societies could be shaped quietly, collectively, and over time, that difference really mattered to him. He did not have to pretend certainty. He did not have to silence his skepticism, but he also could not remain a bystander. Unitarianism offered him a way to be both critic and committed, to stay honest about the world as it is, and still take responsibility for what it might become. So in 1927, Adams was ordained as a Unitarian minister. He's 26 years old. Not because he found certainty, but because he had found a path where his questions stopped being theoretical. In his 20s and 30s, JLA traveled to Europe and spent time in Germany as authoritarianism and the rise of Hitler was taking hold. This development was not subtle. Civil liberties were being stripped away. Political opposition was being silenced. Fear was becoming part of daily life. Kind of sounds a little familiar. So the question facing ordinary people then, including people of faith, was no longer abstract. It was immediate, and it asked, what do we do with this? So Adams met with students, pastors, and organizations who were trying to resist what was happening. And in those meetings, he did see courage, but he also saw something else. He saw how many institutions and churches and universities and civic groups all failed to respond with any real strength. Some remained silent. Some tried to stay neutral. And some convinced themselves that things were not as bad as they seemed. Now, Adams used a word to describe those actions that still land with force today. He called them feeble. And though JLA was questioned by the Gestapo and had contact with those who were resisting, what stayed with him the most was not the courage he witnessed in ordinary people, but it was a lack of collective response. People were not unaware. They could see what was happening. Many were troubled by it, but they were isolated, unorganized, unsure of how to act together, so very little changed. And that experience marked him because it forced him to confront something that is not easy to admit. It is not enough for people to care. It is not enough for people to believe the right things. If those beliefs are not organized, if they do not take form in some kind of shared action, then even deeply held values can fail to shape the world. We don't have to look only to history to see this. We can watch it unfold in our own time. Groups are forming around shared identity. Stories are being repeated until they feel like truth. Language is shifting. Lines between us and them become sharper. And over time, what once seemed unthinkable begins to feel normal. Not because people suddenly became different, but because they were shaped together by these groups. The MAGA, however you want to say it, movement offers one example of how this works. It has created a strong sense of belonging and has reinforced a shared narrative about what is happening in this country and who is responsible. MAGA has shaped how people interpret events, whom they trust, and what they're willing to support. For those inside it, the group provides meaning, identity, and direction. And that kind of formation is powerful. It can hold people together. It can also make it difficult to step outside of the group. Because to question is not just to reconsider ideas, it's to risk losing that connection, that identity in that community. So again, this is not new. It is very human. It's what Adams was trying to help us understand, that we are always being formed by the groups that we belong to. Always. Which means the question is not whether we are being shaped, the question is by whom are we being shaped and toward what? Adams believed deeply and was deeply interested in what he called voluntary associations. Groups of people who come together around shared values and organize themselves to make a difference. He saw these groups as being the essential lifeblood of democracy. JLA took the familiar phrase, "By their fruits you shall know them," and he gave it a twist. He said, "By their groups you shall know them." And that shift moves the question from what we believe to what we are a part of, where we show up, who we stand with, and what we are building together. JLA believed one of the great weaknesses of liberal religion was not a lack of intelligence or compassion. It was a lack of commitment. As UUs, we believe deeply in justice, in dignity, in compassion. We don't always organize those values into something that can act in the world. And when that happens, our faith remains sincere, but it becomes limited. Adams believed that moments like those facing us today require something more than just awareness and care. They require change. Not just policy change, not just cultural change, but personal change. He used the words conversion. And this conversion was not about doctrine. It was about a shift in how we live. A movement from observation into participation. And this is where it becomes real for us here today. Because we are not outside of this dynamic. We are part of it. This congregation is a community, is a voluntary group. And like every community, we are shaping one another through what we practice and what we tolerate and what we encourage and how we show up. If we are not intentional about these things, they may still happen, but just not necessarily in the direction we would choose. So we are a congregation that cares deeply. I see it all the time. We pay attention. We talk about what's happening. We know what's going on. And we feel the weight of it. And right now, that's a lot to carry. Decisions are being made that affect real people's lives. Who's safe, who is welcome, and who is left out. We know this. We feel it. And still, most of what we do happens on our own. One person speaks out here. Another gives money to a cause they believe in. Another volunteers somewhere that is meaningful to them. And all of that matters. And I appreciate all of the many ways that individual people here engage with social justice and all that good stuff outside of these walls. I know there are several of you who are engaged in the community. But I don't think it's the same thing as standing together as one body, one unifying voluntary group. And that's the piece that Adams is trying to show us. Not just that we care as individuals, but that we be willing to act together in a way that actually shapes something. And right now, we could use some work on that. Our social justice committee exists and has some very committed members who are engaged in some sort of social justice work for a cause they care about. But social justice work doesn't belong to a handful of people here, doing their own thing sometimes. This work belongs to the whole congregation, each and every one of you. It belongs to all of us. And in times like these, that matters. Because this isn't the kind of moment that just works itself out. Adam saw that. People of his time knew what was happening in the world just as we do. They cared just as we do. But when that care stayed scattered, it didn't amount to very much. So here's what I'm asking. It's a big question. Are we willing to do something together as a congregation? Are we willing to commit not just to caring, but to showing up together as one body for something? Will we take maybe one issue? There's so many. But let's think about one. Where our values are at stake and decide that we will not face this issue alone as individuals, but as a community. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm old. I've done my work. I don't have time. I care, but everybody in here can make a phone call. Everybody in here could write a letter. I'm not saying everybody has to do a lot of work, but everybody knows many hands make light work. Okay? So I'm asking for that kind of commitment. Adams talked about a kind of faith that gets lived out in every life, not just thought about. The kind that shows up even when it's inconvenient. The kind that takes a little effort, because that's how things actually begin to change. So as we leave today, I'm not asking you to think about this for days or weeks or even months. I'm asking you to decide today. Call it a UU altar call. Right? Are we in this together? Are we willing to join together in a unified body to do something to make a difference? If we are, that's great. Let's leave here today with more than just concern. Let's leave ready to do something together. So if you even feel a small pull toward doing this, toward taking some kind of action as a congregation, I invite you to put down your name, email, and phone number on the sign-up sheet on Ivy Island. Do it before you get distracted by the food. Or if you get distracted by the food, at least do it before you leave today. Before your mind goes elsewhere. Then I'm going to take those sheets, and hopefully everybody's name's going to be on it. I'm going to take those sheets, and I'm going to go to Steve and the Social Justice Committee, and we're going to schedule a meeting. It could be in person, could be on Zoom, we don't know yet. And we're just going to talk. We're not going to make any big decisions. We're just going to talk. What is it that we can rally around as a body? That's it. No big heavy lifting. but the first good step. And then once we decide that, we'll take the next good step. And then the next good step. And before you know it, we're making change, guys. Maybe it's a partnership with another organization that has more power. Yay. The more the better. Okay? I cannot stress enough how important this is. Faith doesn't become real because we believe the right things. It becomes real because we live them and with each other. And may that be so. And go in peace. And please join me as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the power of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As you go from here today, hold on to whatever stayed with you from this service. Pay attention to it. Don't let it get pushed aside. And if there's a place where you can act on it, even in a small way, start there. And go with peace.